and I'm back with another video. So right now we're going to be looking at how to build effective casual pools in your health and social care business. And why, with a very scary close-up there right now, why is that important to you? Well, that's important to you because at the moment in time, there's a 78% increase in the use of agency staff at the moment. Skills for Care reporting that vacancy levels are increasing by 52% in 21-22, and equally 73% of businesses are reporting that locums are less reliable, and 86% of businesses within the health and social care sector are saying that the costs, the hourly rates for agency staff is unsustainable. Shock, I know, horror. So that's why this is important. It's there. Let's go. Let's whiteboard this shit.
House music.
Okay, so if you've not been here and you've not done this with me before, my name is Mike and I am the owner, I am the founder of a lovely little company called Cavill. And we've been helping and supporting businesses in the health and social care sector to increase their productivity and therefore also increase their patient-led care in their businesses for over 7 years. And and I say this every single time, and until I'm told not to, I will continue to do so, but whilst it may not show from my youthful complexion, I have been doing HR for over 19 years, which is a scary thing to admit and say to you right now on a video. And there's not a lot of shit in this industry that I've not seen before. I've seen my fair amount of crazy stuff that you can't believe happens. But the thing I love most about what I do, and I truly do, is there's always new and sillier stuff that people get up to and do that I've never seen before and never come across. So for that reason, I'm always learning. I'm forever a student in that particular process. And what I want to do right now is shoot through how you can build, just touch on how you can build a good, sustainable casual pool in your business. This is actually quite an important one to me personally because at the moment in time, if you don't know, and I will talk about it later on, I'm sure, we have something called a productivity booster, which is where we directly help people like yourselves to increase that productivity in your business, have a better business, and give better support to your patients and better led care. That's the focus and intention of what we do, and we give the HR for free on that process. However, as part of that, one of the things that we're doing and introducing is a program around casual pools. So this actually tips into that a bit, and it's great for me to do because I'm actually really focused on this at the moment, as luck would have it. So before we get into that, I just gave you a few stats on there about the industry, agency costs and use of agency, which within the industry is endemic. One of the things for me, not always being in the industry and looking at other sectors as well, is how it actually works differently within health and social care compared to other kind of sectors, like, for example, marketing or HR or, I don't know, procurement. All of those areas, it's slightly different and nuanced compared to health and social care. Or should I say it's the other way around? Health and social care is a little bit weird and nuanced compared to everybody else because you appear to me to be the outlier. Again, in the comments if I'm wrong. Thank you. So one of the key things I want to talk through here is why it's so nuanced and weird and why you'd want to consider a casual pool in any case. Is it something you really need? And no, it's a simple answer to that. In every business, you don't. But in some cases, especially places like care homes, domiciliary care, care in the community, yes, it could actually be quite a strong case for this. And equally can help to make some savings, some serious savings on cash in those ways. As we already said, 86% of businesses are saying agency costs per hour are unsustainable at their current levels. And we already know in the industry, money too tight to mention, right? So let's have a quick look at some of these bits and pieces. We've got self-determination. This one is a big one for me. This is the biggest weird coinkydink that I come across. is when you have a shortage and you're looking for someone who's an agency worker, you go to the agency and the agency sends you somebody. You are taking somebody you've not vetted, introduced to, interviewed, any of that stuff at short notice and plonking them into your business to give care to the people you're reliant on your business and the patient-led care that you give them. There's a huge kind of gap there that it feels really deeply uncomfortable to me about that, is that you don't have the determination as to who that person is. And I get it from the agency's perspective, this is all short notice and we need to just whiz people in there to help plug your gaps. But there must be the opportunity to do some prior vetting or understand what the prior vetting has been done by the agency and whether that meets your needs and which candidates you'd be willing to accept and which ones you won't. I mean, at the end of the day, this is your business. You are the ones that are responsible for the care. Ultimately, the buck stops with you. So when it comes to any process, I mean, I always say, here's the analogy I use. My business, my baby. People that work in my business are babysitters. Different levels of babysitters, they're babysitters for me, right? And I'm not trying to put people down there. I know you'll get people saying, how dare you say those things? Whatever. But at the end of the day, that's the analogy. I wouldn't take any bored person to come in and look after my child. I wouldn't just allow somebody else to tell me this is the person you're going to have. Deal with it. No, I won't deal with that. Thank you very much. I want some say. I want some self-determination as to what's going to happen and who's going to come in. So that's one of the big problems I have with that. When you look at other industries, so I've been an agency worker. I've been a worker in that way and degree in the past. And I've been heavily vetted, heavily scrutinized, rightfully so, by the way, as though I was being employed. I guess that's part of the problem they have with agency workers, that crossover. But I have been, and it's the right thing to do because you shouldn't just bring any old John, whoever, into your business. Tom, Dick and Harry, that was what I was going for, damn it. But you shouldn't just bring any old Tom, Dick and Harry into your business. And that's the simple truth. So one of the problems I have with this within the industry is you seem to lack quite a lot of self-determination, which means you just get the random that pops up. The other one is continuity. So my mother, I'm going to bring mum into it. So my mum works, she is actually a casual worker now. She wasn't always. But my mum works as a casual worker and she works in dementia care for elderly patients. And I quite straight up will always say, amazing what she does. Not everyone can do the role that you guys do. And I will be one of those and wholeheartedly acknowledge that. But one of the things that's really key for people with dementia is continuity. It's a significant part of the care that you're giving. And if you're getting lots and lots of different faces, different voices, and different people that are turning up, and bearing in mind, we've already said, 78% are using increased usage of agency, whatever it was. It's insane when you think about it, that it's just a constant drive of different people every day. And how do you keep that continuity? Keep the continuity of care, the continuity of the relationship that you're building with the people that you're caring for. How do you do that if you just got this constant revolving door of different people all the freaking time? The next one is costs. We've already established 86% of businesses in health and social care are finding the hourly rates for agency staff is just unsustainable. It can't carry on at the rate it is. So at the moment in time, let's just put this right. You're paying a premium. And there's a reason why it's a premium, and I get why it's a premium. But you are nonetheless still paying a premium. And you don't have self-determination. You lack continuity. And now you're paying a premium for the ability to do that and to have that. Just let that sink in for a minute and resonate. And then you're left thinking, well, are there any other alternatives? So other than the use of agency, I can't seem to find people to fill roles permanently. There's a huge vacancy list within both health and social care. And there is a huge amount of people that are leaving the industry every single day, every month, every year. So you're struggling with your recruitment and retention. You've got burnout of the people that are there, probably higher than normal kind of sickness rates. And here's this guy telling you this is probably a bad idea in some ways. And guys, this is your nuclear button. Let me put that right. No other alternative. Press the button and you go through that route. But there has to be some other alternative. And for me, building a sustainable casual pool is the alternative in the first degree. And what you should be doing as an organization, and I'm sure I'm preaching to the converted because many of you are already in the process of doing this, but is building a sustainable casual pool, one that works. Works is the key element to this, because I have seen, oh my God, I have seen many different methods in doing and building a casual pool. And I've got to tell you, it's not actually the strategy and the system, and all of this is built on systems, by the way, is not that complex. It's not. It's the process of actually building it is longer, but has higher reward at the end of it, that people tend to tip off and try and do other things. And they mess with it before they've actually completed it. So no alternatives is not true. There are. So let's get into looking at what that alternative could be right now. Boom. So let's have a look at what some of these other alternatives are. What I've got, and this is, and I'll emphasize this is just teetering on the edge of what we'll be looking at. There's a lot more that goes behind this, but just as a starter, if you're doing this yourself, things you want to start to think about in that process, this is it. So what I have, this is your recipe. So how to bake a casual pool with 5 tasty ingredients. Yes, eat your heart out, Mary Berry. Thank you very much. Right, so number 1, too large and too small. Quite simply, the biggest mistake that I see an awful lot of the time, bar none others, is this. And it is difficult, but there is a balance between the two. If you have too many people in your casual pool, not everybody gets an equal opportunity to a slice of the pie. Meaning you've got people in your casual pool, quite simply, that are going hungry and you can't feed them. You haven't got enough hours of work to go around to cover everybody in your pool. That means you're going to have an unhealthy pool because people are going to leave. If I'm not getting enough work and there's not enough opportunity for work, I'm going to go somewhere else and I'm going to work somewhere else rather than being your casual pool. The other alternative to that is too small. And that's quite simply the opposite, isn't it? So you're going to have too few people in your casual pool, meaning they're bloated. They can't take any more. There's too much consumption, damn it. You stop force feeding me. I feel like it's a cry for help for me personally there. But at the end of the day, that's the situation. You're going to get higher levels of burnout because there's going to be a higher reliance on these people. They're equally going to be sitting there going, I'm practically full-time, man. Why am I casual if I'm practically full-time? So you need to have a good balance that has frequency of work availability for people, but not an over heavy reliance on individuals. Bearing in mind, there's a key concept here with casual work, and that is, as a casual worker, I have absolutely zero obligation to accept work from you. I don't have to say yes. And on the flip side to that, as an employer, I have a zero obligation to provide you with any work. So given that balance, you need to find something that works for the individual within your pool. The more people it doesn't work for, the unhealthier the pool is, and everything else is for naught because it all just comes crumbling down. And this is where a lot of people that are applying, they're starting or trying to build and cement their casual pool, they fall foul there because they either have too few or they have too many. And I've got to be honest, if you're going to ask me which is the most common, it's too few. Too few are available. And what happens is, by the way, you have too few and people are going, I can't do it and I can't do those hours because they've got zero obligation to accept. So what do? Agency. And that's what tends to happen. And the cycle of doom continues. The next ingredient here is rota coverage. So one of the things that's really missed when you do get to this perfect equation, so you've got the first ingredient all nailed and done, is you just leave it. And you just then start to try and offer work out to everybody. Or you put up sheets of paper and you say, these are the shifts that are available next week. Would you care to take one? Or another one I've seen is you post it out on WhatsApp. Or you have a Facebook messaging group. And things like that. All these things don't tend to work. Purely because you need equal coverage for everybody. If you give all the shifts to one person because they're hungry for the shifts, then no one else eats. They all go hungry and they leave. So you need to be the arbiter. You need to be the controller here. In my case, the fat controller. The fat controller. That's my Ringo Starr impression. Thank you very much. Good evening. So you need to be the arbiter of what's happening with this particular process. If you leave it up to everybody else, you will have people that are in feast and you'll have people that are in famine. And if you have that situation, you've got an unhealthy pool and the whole thing breaks down. So you need to assess. It's on you to assess when people are absolutely available. Let's block that out in green against your rota. So let's just say you've got mornings, lunchtimes, evenings, weekends, okay, that are available. Now, you want to say green light to these particular shifts to this person. Those that they could maybe be able to do are an amber, and those that are absolutely that they cannot do whatsoever would be a red. So you know that if person A falls through and can't do it, a first step is to look if there's someone else who's green within that rotated element that would potentially be able to do it, and work your way through to find someone that's available. If no one that is green is available to cover that shift, you then go onto your ambers and you have a look at those people. And then once you've explored all of that and you've got nothing but red left and you've done everything you possibly can, you go back into the cycle of doom. Maybe you look at agency to give you the coverage. Or even overtime, by the way. Let's not forget that one. So rota coverage means that the onus is on you to set this up and to monitor and arbiter it, not to then set it up and unleash merry howl onto everybody else to do it themselves. The third ingredient is incentivization. Quite simply with this, the majority of people are going to want to do mornings and afternoons. Mornings and afternoons. Not very many people are going to be opting for the evening shift in the weekends. Let's put it out there, that's the fact. So if you have a standard hourly rate for your casuals, and that's it, and you don't shift from that, you don't budge, you don't do anything, well, the problem you're going to have is everyone's going to be competing for the same time. Meaning you're going to have an allotment of your rota that you can't get any greens or ambers to. So your only way to do that is to maybe think about incentivizing. Now, you'll say, but Mike, that's going to cost me more money. You said it's going to save money, man, and you're lying, you scumbag. Well, I may be a scumbag, but I'm a lot of things I've been told. But I'm not lying here. You take how much you pay for an agency member of staff to do a weekend, which, by the way, will be incentivized. It'll be a higher rate. And evenings will be the same thing, right? If you take how much you're paying to them, if you increase a smidge on the hourly rate for casual workers to do an evening or a weekend shifts, then you're probably going to find more people will gravitate to it. And you'll get more greens and ambers that will be open to it because they might get an increased salary and increased income from doing those hours. In fact, they may be able to do less work as a casual worker by doing more of those hours because they get paid more for the work they're doing, and you simultaneously still save money because it's still cheaper than an agency person. Remember the 86%, right? So the next part, fourth ingredient, is to communicate with people. So all of this really is so fragile without communication. You need to make sure that you have someone in your team that is able to constantly remember to update people if there's changes in the rota, updates to the rota, if they need reminding, they're on the rota, all those things. Again, I've seen this from experience when people get put onto a rota as a casual worker, no one tells them. They put them on the damn thing and they don't tell them they're on there. And then when it comes to doing the shift and they don't turn up, all hell breaks loose. Where were you, punk? Why didn't you come into work? Everybody else was here. Oh, you didn't tell me. Well, that may be a good reason, but who cares? This is the situation. Communication is essential throughout all of this. Every step of the way, communication is going to be key. And the last but not least is, oh, well, that was so easy. Good recruitment, right? So what I mean by good recruitment is your pool is going to ebb and flow. It's a live organism. It's never going to be in a status of perfection. You're never going to have it at a place where it is absolutely 100% nailed on right for you and your business forever and evermore. You're going to have to constantly look at it. It may mean that you need to do maybe some regular recruitment practices, maybe some regular adverts towards your casual pool to make sure that when people are leaving, you have people that can come on and you can work it in that particular way. And indeed, if you do have these ingredients that are in place, for people that are looking for casual work, for those that are in an agency but are looking for something more consistent, this could be a dreamboat for them. It may be less money for them as an individual, but consistency will be, in a lot of cases, imperative in a casual world. And yeah, I did just say consistency in a casual world. Consistency casual, consistently casual. Yeah, I get that, but you can. And that's what we're saying for these grouping of people. You're going to have enough people there, just enough to be able to give food, enable them to eat for everybody. Everybody gets the equal setting of what they could need and what they may need for what they're looking for out of casual work. And when that becomes available, it means that everybody's more happier because they're getting what they need out of that equation. You don't have a group of people that are absolutely feasting and a group of people that are in absolute famine. You do have a good balance. So that consistency to some people will be really good. But what you've got to imagine is people can leave at any point in time if they wanted to. People can turn around and start becoming unreliable because they don't have to accept work from you. So at the end of the day, you need to have a constant reflection and good recruitment practices to keep the flow going on. You will need a flow of people to come in that will go out and a flow of people that come in and go out. It means it's an organism that you're going to have to keep an eye on. It's not something you can do once and done. It's going to need regular review. So, like I said, this is really rewarding for me to be going through this as much as hopefully it is for you too. And if you have found this at all helpful for you in your business, if you found that some of these things and the ingredients we've got here are not being applied or in totality in your current casual pool program in your business, then I hope this has helped you to give some structure and just the tip of the iceberg to get going yourself to get in this setup. There is much more underneath the water. But if you'd like to learn more about that, if you'd like to learn more about how we can help and support you, if that is something that you'd be interested in, there's a link in the description. Please go ahead. You can have a look at that if you want to do so. If you do go through there, for full disclosure, there's no webinars, no bullshit, no crazy crap. It is, for full disclosure, a funnel for how we can help and support you. And it would just be an exploratory process to see if it is viable, if we can even support you. But either way, if you have found value here, please help us out. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe and share, please. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. Take care. Good night. Good evening. Ta-ra!